In this video, we will understand and learn how to create clients and API keys in Senha Segura. First of all, it is very important to understand what these APIs in Senha Segura are for. Basically, the system's API will be able to interact with these main entities, such as credentials, devices, SSH keys, protected information, tasks, and others. To create an API, initially we need to go to the App2A module, located next to PAM, and click on Applications. Applications, we will understand it as a box. Every API needs to be inside an application, so the application will be our box, which will wait for authorizations, where authorizations in turn will authorize the password query or the creation of certain credentials. Let's look at the example. So here initially I'm going to create my first application. I'm going to call it Senha Segura API. We will use the OAuth 2.0. Here I can put tags or description, the tags for segmentation, and I'm going to save. Right after we save, we will see my application here. And I'm going to view my authorizations. Well, here I still have an empty box. Here I need to add authorizations, where authorizations, in turn, will give me access to certain credentials. So first, I will here create my first authorization in New. This first setting is to define whether my authorization is going to have an expiration date. Here in our case, I'll leave it in blank, and we will move on to the Security tab. Here, we will define which module my API key will have access to. Here in my scenario, this API of mine is going to query credential passwords. So I'm going to check only the PAM. Right after that, I'm going to inform if this authorization will be read-only, that is, only GET requests for password withdrawals, for example, or if it will be able to create device credentials through this credential. Initially, it will be read-only. Soon after, it will be a very important configuration, which is the password encryption in the response. If you leave the option No, when Senha Segura sends the response in the format of is on, this response will come with a key containing the password of the credential. Logically, this password will be encrypted based on the HTTPS protocol and display it in clear text in the last application layer. But the transport of information is always encrypted based on the protocol. Still, if you want your password response to be encrypted, you can add this functionality to the Senha Segura by checking the Yes option. Here, for now, you leave it as No. After that, we will tell you which IPs we allow to query or use this API. So let's say my API is going to be used by a build server of mine, where it's going to send a request to Senha Segura to query a password and use it for some purpose. The IP of my server is 192.168.0.115. Putting it in this configuration means that the API will be able to make requests only from this source. If through another source like a 192.168.0.116 use the same API keys generated after this configuration, Senha Segura will not allow the execution, only the same source. Well, here for this tab it is enough. We can go to the Credentials tab. Here basically is the tab where I will say which credentials this respective authorization can query. Here in my case, I'm going to inform a Debian 11 device that I have registered in my Senha Segura credential. This way, I'm ensuring that this API authorization will be able to query only the ID28 credential of Senha Segura. If the same source tries to perform a GET on any other credential, such as ID28 or any other, Senha Segura will not allow it either. Just like a credential, I can add advice or protected information to be queried as well. For the moment, we will keep only the credential. Click Save. Perfect! My authorization has been successfully saved, and now I'll close here so that we understand and go back to the concept of applications and authorizations. So initially, here I have my application, which is my box, and inside this box, I have my authorization. But inside this box, I can create several authorizations. All I have to do is use the New Event menu. Well, my authorization is already here. How can I view the API keys now? There are two ways. I can come here, click on View, and here I will see my client secret to use in my API request, knowing that my credential is the ID28. Just as I can also come here directly in the application in the latest versions of Senha Segura and click on the View Event. Here will be displayed the same screen that we had seen previously, providing the client secret and our client ID, and still our credential for the password query. This way you get access to the Senha Segura API keys to use it in a requisition. Thank you.